Buying a used outboard should be easy. Check the price, pull the cord, hand over the cash, right? Wrong. One bad motor can cost more than your boat. Blown seals, hidden corrosion, and worn-out internals are waiting to ruin your weekend. This video will save you thousands. Before you even think about buying that used outboard, watch this, because most disasters don't show up until it's too late. Compression tells you if the engine has life left in it. For most two-stroke outboards, healthy compression should be between 110 and 130 psi per cylinder. More important than the number is consistency. Each cylinder should be within 10% of the others. If one is low, it could mean worn rings, a damaged piston, or a scored cylinder wall. That's an expensive fix. Always bring a compression tester. They cost around $30 and take 5 minutes to use. Unscrew each spark plug. Test one cylinder at a time and crank the engine. If a seller won't let you do this, walk away, no exceptions. This test tells you more about an engine's health than any shiny paint or clean cowling ever could. Also, don't believe verbal claims. Ran great last season means nothing. Compression is either good or it isn't, and it's the only number that really matters. If this helped already, give it a like. And don't miss the last tip. It's the one mistake even smart buyers make, and it could cost you thousands. Keep watching. A running motor doesn't mean it's a good one, especially if it's already warm when you arrive. Many outboards with issues like bad spark, dirty carbs, or low compression will still run once they're hot. That's why cold starts matter. A healthy engine should fire up cold in a few seconds without needing starter fluid, choke tricks, or 20 pulls. Before meeting the seller, ask them not to start the motor ahead of time. When you arrive, check if the engine block is cool to the touch. If it's already warm, they might be hiding a hard start issue. Offer to come back later or ask for a proper cold start demo. Starting from cold shows the real condition of the ignition system, carburation, and internal wear. If it struggles to start or stalls out, it's a clear sign the engine needs serious work, or isn't worth buying at all. Shiny cowling or not, the lower unit is where the real damage hides. Start by checking the gear oil. Crack the drain screw and look closely. Milky oil means water intrusion, which often points to bad seals. If the oil smells burnt or has metal shavings, you're looking at serious internal wear. Next, grab the prop and spin it by hand. It should rotate smoothly with no grinding or clicking. Wiggle it side to side. Excess play could mean worn bearings or a bent shaft. Also remove the prop to check for fishing line wrapped around the shaft. Line cuts into seals and lets water in, leading to expensive repairs. Finally, check for signs of patch paint or heavy corrosion around the skeg and drain plugs. Rebuilt or painted over lower units can look fine, but hide deep damage. A bad lower unit isn't just a repair, it can cost more than the whole engine's worth. Power tilt and trim isn't just convenient, it's expensive to fix if it fails. Replacing a trim motor or hydraulic ram can run you hundreds, sometimes more. That's why you need to test it thoroughly before buying. Press both the throttle-mounted and engine-mounted trim switches. The motor should go up and down smoothly, with no hesitation, grinding, or weird noises. Check the hydraulic rams for leaks or wet spots. Even a small oil sheen means the seals are failing. Also listen for a buzzing or clicking sound without movement. That's usually a bad relay or burned out motor. If the system struggles or cuts out halfway, it's likely on its last legs. Some sellers will try to hide trim issues by disconnecting the switch or only demonstrating it partially. Don't fall for it. A broken trim system isn't a quick fix. It's a wallet drainer. Always test it top to bottom, no shortcuts. Outboards live in harsh environments, and some corrosion is normal, but deep corrosion can kill a motor silently. Start by tapping the midsection and bracket with your knuckles. It should sound solid. If it sounds hollow or flakes come off, the metal may be rotting from the inside. Focus on the exhaust housing, head bolts, and mounting bracket. These are common corrosion points. White, chalky buildup around bolts or water jackets means salt exposure. If the anodes are completely gone or heavily pitted, the engine likely ran in salt water without protection. That means hidden corrosion inside the block or water passages, which you can't see until it's too late. Cosmetic rust is one thing, but when it reaches the structural parts, like mounting arms or pivot pins, it becomes a major safety issue. Don't be fooled by clean paint. Sellers often spray over rot. Look underneath and ask where the motor was used. Salt kills quietly. It sounds great, only used a few times, or hasn't run in years, but it was perfect when parked. In reality, that's a giant red flag. Outboards hate sitting. Old fuel turns to varnish, gaskets dry out, and corrosion sets in fast, especially if it wasn't stored right or winterized properly. Ask when the motor was last run under load, not just started in the yard. Turning it over on a hose doesn't count. If it hasn't seen real water use in over a year, you should expect to replace the impeller, fuel lines, filters, plugs, and probably clean the carbs or injectors. That's just to make it safe again. Motors that sit for years are projects, not bargains. Even if they start, they're rarely ready to run hard. Don't let a clean cowling and a low price trick you. If it's been idle too long, it's likely to cost you more than it's worth. Before you get distracted by the engine itself, check how it's mounted, or if it's even mounted at all. Worn or mismatched mounting bolts, rusted brackets, or oversized holes on the transom bracket are all red flags. They often mean the motor's been swapped between boats, dropped, or mounted improperly. If the motor isn't currently installed on a boat, be cautious. Detached outboards might have been removed for a reason, like a cracked transom clamp, seized steering arm, or bent shaft. Ask why it was taken off. If you hear "just upgraded," dig deeper. Also, test the steering. It should move freely and smoothly. If the motor turns stiff or resists, the steering pivot or tilt tube could be seized from corrosion. That's a nightmare to fix and a major safety issue. Don't ignore the base of the engine. It often tells you more about its history than the powerhead ever will. Still with me? Good, because the next few tips are where most people slip up. And the final one? It's the deal breaker no one talks about. Don't miss it. If a deal looks too good to be true, it usually is, especially with used outboards. A 90-horsepower Yamaha listed for $2,000 in perfect condition should raise alarms. That price might reflect hidden damage, missing parts, or worse, a stolen motor. Outboard theft is common, and shady sellers use low prices to move hot goods fast. Be skeptical of vague ads. If the seller can't provide a serial number, avoid them. Always verify the model and year using the ID plate. If anything looks tampered with, walk away. And if they avoid basic questions like, when was it last serviced? Or, how many hours does it have? Chances are they don't know because they didn't own it long. Also avoid listings with only one photo, no test start, or a rushed sale. Scammers rely on urgency to push you into a bad decision. Take your time. A real seller won't pressure you, and a real motor is worth the wait. Only 100 hours. Sounds great, until you realize there's no way to verify it without an engine diagnostic tool. On older motors, hour meters can be swapped, reset, or simply not working. Don't buy based on hours alone. Instead, inspect the condition closely. Look at the paint on the block. Factory paint should still be intact around the bolts. Worn paint, rounded bolt heads, or excessive grime suggest high use or rough maintenance. Check the spark plug wires, clamps, and harnesses. Are they clean and original, or brittle and patched up? Also look for evidence of recent work. A new head gasket on a dirty engine might mean a recent repair attempt, not necessarily a good one. In short, judge with your eyes and ears, not just the number on a meter. A well-maintained 500-hour motor can be better than a neglected one with just 100 hours. Condition always wins. Some sellers make a worn-out engine look showroom fresh with a can of tire shine and black spray paint. It's a common trick. Spray everything under the cowling to make it look clean and glossy. But that shine hides leaks, corrosion, and cracks. Don't fall for it. Always bring a rag. Wipe a few spots on the engine block, wiring, and fuel lines. If your rag comes away greasy or black, the motor's been dressed up for sale. Look underneath the gloss, at hose clamps, gaskets, and electrical connectors. If they're corroded or cracked, it's likely just a cover-up. Real condition isn't glossy. It looks clean but shows some natural wear. If the engine looks too perfect for its age, like it just left the factory, it probably didn't. Always assume fresh paint or shine is hiding something. Trust dirt and dust more than anything that gleams under the cowling. It's not just the engine that matters. Bad wiring and controls can leave you stranded or unable to even start the motor. Begin with the throttle and shift cables. They should move smoothly with no sticking or grinding. If they're stiff, cracked, or corroded, plan on replacing them, especially if the motor sat unused for years. Inspect the wiring harness closely. Look for splices, electrical tape, or frayed insulation. Water and sun exposure can destroy outboard wiring over time, especially near connectors. Corrosion here leads to unreliable starting, dead gauges, or worse, intermittent engine failure on the water. Also test the ignition switch and kill switch. A faulty key switch or loose connection might start fine in the driveway but fail at the dock. If you're getting the controls and harness with the motor, make sure everything works. Rewiring an outboard isn't cheap, and failing to do it can cost you a tow back to shore. Not all outboards are built to last. Some models are known troublemakers. Early 2000s Mercury 4-strokes with Yamaha powerheads, for example, had carb issues and ignition problems. Evinrude Ficht models from 1998 to 2001 were infamous for powerhead failures and software glitches. And older force motors? Parts can be nearly impossible to find, even if the engine still runs. Before you buy, look up the exact make, model, and year. Check forums, owner groups, and service bulletins. If a certain engine has a reputation for blown powerheads, weak lower units, or electrical nightmares, it's better to find out before you buy, not when you're stuck in the middle of a lake. It's not about the brand, it's about the specific engine generation. Every company has had bad years. Don't assume it's reliable just because it says Yamaha, Mercury, or Suzuki on the side. Do your homework and avoid known problem models at all costs. When the engine's running, sound is your best diagnostic tool. A healthy outboard should idle smoothly, rev cleanly, and respond instantly to throttle. If you hear knocking, ticking, or clattering, especially under load, you're likely dealing with internal wear, bad bearings, or valve issues. Do the throttle snap test. Give the engine a quick, sharp burst of throttle. If it stumbles, bogs, or dies, that usually means dirty carbs, clogged injectors, or bad timing. It's a small test with big answers. Also, don't ignore vibration. Excessive shake at idle or high RPM can signal bad mounts, misfiring cylinders, or a bent prop shaft. If something sounds or feels off, trust your gut. Noise is often the only warning you'll get before a major failure. The best mechanics listen first, then wrench. You should too. Every outboard should have a strong, steady stream of water shooting from the telltale, the little pee-hole. That stream shows the water pump is working and the engine is being cooled. If it's weak, intermittent, or doesn't show up within a few seconds of starting, shut the engine off immediately. A weak stream usually means a failing impeller, a cheap part. But if it's been run dry or ignored, it can lead to overheating and internal damage. Worse, some sellers replace just the impeller without checking the whole water pump housing, which can be melted or cracked if the engine was ever run without water. Don't just look for the stream. Feel the water. It should be warm, not hot. If it's boiling or steaming, the cooling system is compromised. A bad water pump can destroy an engine fast, and it's one of the most common causes of outboard failure after a sale. Used outboard pricing is all over the place. You'll find 20-year-old Yamahas listed for $4,000 and newer motors listed for less. But that doesn't mean the newer one is better. Age is just a number. What really matters is condition, maintenance, and how the engine was stored and used. Don't chase a deal just because the price is low. A cheap engine with hidden issues will cost more in repairs than buying a solid one up front. Always factor in potential service costs, water pump, fuel system cleaning, gaskets, and labor. Even minor problems add up fast. A good rule? Ask yourself, would I feel safe running this motor full throttle 10 miles offshore tomorrow? If the answer is no, then the price is irrelevant. You're not buying a number, you're buying reliability. Pay for the engine that works, not the one that just looks good on a trailer. At the end of the day, trust your instincts. If something feels off about the seller, the engine, or the story, there's usually a reason. Maybe the motor looks too clean, the price is oddly low, or the seller is dodging simple questions. Those are all red flags, even if everything checks out on paper. Most bad outboard deals happen because buyers ignore their gut. You might feel pressured to grab a good deal before someone else does, or you're afraid to walk away after driving 2 hours. Don't fall for that. There are always more outboards. There's only one of your bank account. If you're unsure, walk. If you need time, take it. A great engine will still be great tomorrow. A bad one will ruin your season. Outboards are serious investments, and a 5-minute feeling can save you 5 years of regret. Listen to it. A used outboard can be an incredible deal or a nightmare in disguise. You're not just buying a motor, you're buying peace of mind every time you leave the dock. And peace of mind doesn't come from luck. It comes from checking everything: compression, cooling, tilt and trim, wiring, and more. Don't rush. Don't get blinded by shiny paint or a smooth sales pitch. Outboards aren't forgiving. If something's wrong, it usually shows up when you're miles from shore and can't do anything about it. That's why the smartest buyers aren't the ones who find the cheapest deal. They're the ones who walk away from bad ones. So take your time, do the tests, ask the hard questions, and if something feels off, don't hesitate to walk. Because once you're out on the water, the only engine you want is one you can trust. If this video saved you from a bad buy, or gave you the confidence to shop smart, hit that subscribe button. We cover real tips for real boaters, no fluff. Got a question about a specific motor? Drop it in the comments, we reply to everyone. Stay sharp, stay safe, and enjoy the water with an outboard you can actually trust.